Hello everyone and welcome to this really quick informational video about the question mark in FIFA 21. So I've gotten pretty annoyed watching some YouTubers explain this as if your overall is lowered when you play your player out of position, or when you see this question mark, or even the red question mark. So let me tell you a little bit about how overall works in FIFA. Basically, you have these stats, right? Your stats of your player, and for each position, from them there is overall calculated, but each position takes different stats in account to make that overall. And when you move your players around, none of these stats are changing ever. It's just the way the overall is calculated for each position is different. So right here we have Paul Pogba. Of course, he has, as you can see, secondary position CDM, but still has the orange question mark, and it says -6. So why is that if that's his secondary position still? Well, of course, if we change this to center mid, you can see that it's gone. So for that position it is correct, but let me move him here. But for the secondary position it's -6. Well, if we look at this site, of course some of you might know, sofifa.com, very useful site, and we can look here that his main position is CM, 86 overall, and in this very useful chart you can see that ignore this +3, because I think this is because there isn't such a thing as 0 overall, so it's always one higher than the actual overall. But this is his main position, 86, right? And his CDM position here, you can see, is 78 +2 is 80. So, and that is again calculated based on his stats. So this is the reason why you see -6 on him when you're playing him, even if it's his secondary position. Now, if you move him to, let's say, center back, which he doesn't even have ladder, he has -11, right? Which is 75, right? Again, center back, and 73 +2 is 75. So this is a really useful thing you can use if you let's say you wanna buy a player and you wanna know what actual overall would he have in the other position. And this of course impacts the player position change through the development tab, right? So if you wanna change, let's say you wanna change him to CDM first, the game would have to try to climb him from 80 overall to 87 to actually make that one overall jump, and then it gives you the button to actually change your position. So by this you can see how long it would take you to change someone before you, let's say, buy him, before you see it in the actual game. Now there is an exception to this, of course, and that is if you have someone like this guy Chikwete that I brought in from Palace. If you have someone who he is main CDM, main position, but he actually has a position that is better for him than his main one based on the stats that he has, and even if it's not his position, he has CDM and CM, if you move him to CB, he has +2. You would say, how does it happen that he doesn't have the exclamation point, even if it's not his position, right? But his stats say that it's good enough. So basically the exclamation point is just the game informing you that the player decreased based on the number. But first, it's always been like that, in like FIFA 12 you can remember that, or even the older FIFAs, you can remember that if you move someone out of position, their number would actually change. There would be no minuses. It's much more clearer that way, in my opinion. If you just see the overall right away, and then maybe in this stat area you can see his full overall. But also if you value certain stats, like let's say agility, if you move the player out of position, the agility is still gonna be there, and the player is still gonna be good in the things that he's good in the different position, so you don't have to worry about someone's overall being lowered. But for Kuyate, he has +2 to his overall. And why is that? Again, you can look on FIFA. His main position CDM 77, but CB you can see is 78 for him. So that is why you see that he has no exclamation mark. So there are exceptions like this. So definitely FIFA is great for this. Some other sites have this too. This sort of comparison of stats. It's great. But yeah, you don't have to worry about your players overall being lowered. You can pretty much do whatever you want with them, as long as you are happy to play them in that position. That's all. Hopefully it helped you. You can subscribe to this channel and follow me on Twitch for some Karimon content coming. And yeah, see you in another video.